Hello, let us learn the second part of photosynthesis, that is the site of photosynthesis. The site of photosynthesis is in all the green plants. All the green parts of the plant, they perform the process of photosynthesis, and they are performing because they have a very peculiar type of organelle called as chloroplast. Hence, the chloroplast is involved in the process of photosynthesis. So we'll try to learn the exact structure of photosynthesis, though we have earlier discussed it in the earlier chapter. Then too we'll take just a view of the chloroplast. So chloroplast, and especially the leaves, if the transverse section of leaf is taken, we'll find some of the mesophyll cell, the upper epidermis, the lower epidermis, which has stomata, and the upper epidermal cell, just below the upper epidermal cell, there is a line of mesophyll cells. These mesophylls, they form the pellicid parenchyma, and there are other type of mesophyll cell, they form the spongy parenchyma. So all these parenchymal cells, the mesophyll cells, parenchymal or the mesophyll cell, they contain small chloroplast organelles just besides the vacuoles, and these chloroplasts, they are involved in the process of photosynthesis. So what is now chloroplast? A chloroplast is a cellular organelle which is a special organelle similar to the mitochondria, and they have their individual identity in the cell because they have their own ribosomes and they are involved in most of the important activities required for a plant cell. Now, if you see a chloroplast, it is made up of the outer and inner membrane, and the outer and inner membrane is filled, the space between them is filled by a fluid. Okay, then if you go inside the chloroplast, there is a stroma, and inside the stroma there are coin-like structures called as thylakoids. These thylakoids, they are single structures, and if they come together they form a granum, and these granum, they are connected with each other with the help of a stroma lamella. It is a connection between two thylakoids, or we can say two granum. Then other than this, there is a lipid globule, there are starch grain, and there are other important components of the chloroplast. Now this is a site where this part of the photosynthesis is taking place. If you see the position of chloroplast during the light hours and dark hours, you will find that during the high light, the chloroplasts, they are at the flat surface parallel to the wall. So at high light, they are parallel to the wall, and during a low light, they have to take maximum amount of light from the sun, so they come perpendicular to the incident light. Okay, and at the time of dark, they, because they don't need now the light, and they are going for the dark process, that is biosynthetic phase, so that's why they come down to the lower part of the cell, or lower part of the sun cell, we can say, back to the part that is not exposed to light. So now this was a site. Now photosynthesis, it is possible only because of pigments called as the photosynthetic pigments or photosynthesis pigments. So there are four major type of pigments that are involved in photosynthesis, and we can observe these photosynthetic pigment when we do a paper chromatography, where we put a drop of a spot of the chlorophyll pigment that we have obtained from crushing the green leaves with the organic solvent like acetone and ether, and then we will obtain different colors on this paper, and these colors, they will be of either blue green, yellow or yellow orange color based on their frequency of movement or the speed of their movement. So chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, xanthophylls and carotenoids, these are the pigments. The major chlorophyll pigment is the chlorophyll A, and we will try to learn its structure. So if you see this structure, this is a structure of chlorophyll, and we can distinguish chlorophyll A and B with the single structure or single group. So first we will just look at the structure. Now if you see the structure, it is made up of a head and a long tail. Okay, phytol tail, a hydrocarbon tail we can say. So it is a head and a tail. The head is made up of porphyrin ring and which has 4 pyrrole ring. So these are the 4 pyrrole ring, 1, 2 and 3 and 4, and these all pyrrole ring, they are connected together with the help of a magnesium element. Okay, this magnesium make bonding with the nitrogen either in the form of covalent bond or in the form of a coordination bond. So 2 covalent bonds and 2 coordination bonds are formed. The chlorophyll A and B can be distinguished easily with the help of the third carbon of second pyrrole ring. So this is a second 1, 2, second pyrrole ring, and this is the third carbon. So this third carbon has a methyl group, and because of methyl group it has become chlorophyll A. And if the methyl group is changed into CHO group or the aldehyde group, then we say that the chlorophyll is a chlorophyll B, and you will find both of them, they have a different color. One is blue green, another is yellow green in color, and the wavelength, maximum wavelength they take is at the wavelength of 430 and 662 nanometer. So this is a major pigment of photosynthesis, that is chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. We can say it as a tadpole structure. The other pigments, these pigments are carotenoids and xanthophyll. So carotenoid, they are blue, violet colored structure, or especially they are orange pigments. And as in the carrots, the carrots obtain their name from the orange color that is called carotenoids. And we have also learned that carotene is also a type of carotenoid which is a hydrocarbon, and these all are hydrocarbons. They can be distinguished into alpha carotene or beta carotene. Beta carotene is an example of vitamin A precursor. These pigments, other than chlorophyll, they are called shield pigments as they protect chlorophyll from photooxidation. So heavy exposure to light can damage the chlorophylls, and chlorophylls, they are the reaction centers. So if they are damaged, the photosynthesis process will not take place. So to prevent from light of high intensity, these carotenoids and xanthophyll, they act, and that's why they are called as what? Shield pigment. They are shielding chlorophylls. Xanthophylls, they are peculiarly yellow in color, and they are very similar to carotene, but they contain oxygen. So the basic difference is the oxygen contained. And we already know that these pigments can be separated by paper chromatography. So to understand the process of absorption of light and the rate of photosynthesis, we have to draw with two graphs. We have to concern two graphs. These graphs are called as absorption spectrum, which shows the amount of light of different wavelength absorbed by a pigment. So here we have the different wavelength of light starting from 400 and ending to 700 nm. So we find that at a particular peculiar wavelengths, all the pigments they act at of different wavelengths. So their peaks are obtained like chlorophyll A. You will find the peak at this R, and the chlorophyll B slightly towards 700 or towards 500 nm. Carotenoids they act both at 400 as well as 500 nm, because if chlorophyll is not working or the intensity of light is very less, these carotenoids they start acting and they start harvesting the light. Then another graph that can be drawn to find out the rate of photosynthesis is called as action spectrum, which shows the rate of photosynthesis at different wavelengths of light. At different wavelengths of light. So this is a different wavelength of light, and these wavelength of light shows the process of photosynthesis at different wavelength. Okay, the wavelength of. Now if you compare both these graphs, we will have a close similarity between these action spectrum and absorption spectrum. So you have to understand that action spectrum is the absorption of light by different pigments, and absorption rate of photosynthesis at different wavelengths. So it is action and absorption and action. When both are compared, we find that the absorption of light, especially blue and red, is responsible for the photosynthesis, because we see a very high peak at the blue wavelength and at the red wavelength. Okay. Now the site is okay. Now we have to see where exactly this is going to take place. In 1932, Robert Emerson and Arnold proposed the whole process of photosynthesis, and it is of two phases: photochemical phase, that is light reaction, and biosynthetic. Photochemical phase because it involves light, and chemical process because there is a formation of chemical energy in the form of ATP and NADP. And another phase, that is all the products that are made during light reaction, they will be used in the dark reaction for the synthesis of starch. And there will be some byproducts obtained. These byproducts are oxygen, as well as the byproduct is also a starch. Okay. So finally, if you see from this diagram, you will find that the light reaction taking place in the thylakoids, and the dark reaction is taking place in a Kelvin cycle. The products are ATP and NADP. Here the products they are used, and the end products are NADP and ADP. So the water is involved in light reaction, and water is splitted to form oxygen as a byproduct. So here we will only understand that stroma is for dark reaction, and the light reaction is taking place in a thylakoid. These two things are very important to understand. Stroma is a site for dark reaction, and thylakoids are the site for the light reaction. Okay. The absorption is actually taking place with the help of a photosystem. Photosystems, or we can call it as a PS. So we have two photosystems in the plants, and this is a photosystem where there is a reaction center, this reaction center, especially chlorophyll A molecule, and there are accessory pigments called as antenna molecule or light harvesting complex, which accept the light, and then this light is now transferred, all the lights are transferred or photons are transferred to the reaction center. So in the thylakoid membrane, all the exposed surfaces, they have PS1 system. Now what is PS1? PS1 is a reaction center, especially it is a chlorophyll A and has an absorption peak at 700 nm. So this will absorb a peak at what? 700 nm. So P, that's why the name is given as P700. So here P means what? Peak. What is peak? The absorption spectrum will show peak at the 700 nm. And other region, that is oppressed region, oppressed means in between these two, or suppressed, we can call oppressed region, are having PS2, PS2 or photosystem 2, and it is absorption is at a maximum of 680 nanometer. That's why P here the peak is 680. That's why we gave it name as P680. So PS1 is a P700 and PS2 is a P60 680. So the absorption peak is at 700, and in PS2 the absorption peak is at 680 nanometer. The stroma lamella also are exposed, or they are non-oppressed region. That's why they are also having PS1 in them. So these all are the structures that will be involved in the light reaction, because the first step of photosynthesis is the absorption of light. Hence, that's why these PS1 and PS2 is to be known to you, and these all reaction centers, they will help in the absorption of light. So we will learn the light reactions and other dark reaction in our next part. So let us see some of the questions, like what do you mean by PAR? PAR is a photosynthetically active radiation, and it is between 400 to 700 nm, and which is effective for photosynthesis. What is photooxidation? We just now have seen that intensity of light falling on leaf surfaces beyond a point, chlorophyll is destroyed. So the chlorophyll will be destroyed if the light is beyond a point. Hence, the photooxidation process starts. Phenomenon occurs in presence of oxygen, and it is called photooxidation. Carotenoids, they help to prevent chlorophyll from high light intensity, and hence they are very important for the plant. Carotenoids also act as antioxidants, so help to detoxify the bad effect of activated oxygen species on chlorophyll molecule. That's why vitamin A is used as a antioxidant. Okay, so these all are the processes and site of the photosynthesis. Thank you.